Okay, coming to you live from the Halston Mills fire. We know there's a chemical fire here at the Halston Mills plant in Churchill, and as far as the closest I can get is to the intersection of 11W and Halston Mills Road, which you can see the plant ahead of me. There's a chemical fire up there, according to reports from the scanner, and there's been an evacuation, and that's all we know right now. You can see there's a big plume of black smoke coming up from the plant, and I can smell it, so I hope I'm not getting poisoned, but if I am, everybody else is. But I was at an industrial board meeting. This is Jeff Bobo with Kingsport Times News. I was at an industrial board meeting, and the text came in to the industrial board people at the same time as me that this fire had taken place. Here we see some ambulances. I'm going to zoom in here. Some ambulances are coming out. They're not coming out with lights flashing and sirens blaring, so that might be a good sign, I hope, that there's no injuries. One can only hope. But as you can see ahead of me here, that looks like the ambulances are coming to stage here at this, I guess this is a trucking depot ahead of us, Maverick Transportation, and got ambulances moving in. As soon as I find someone who can elaborate further on what's going on, I'll try to get a word in. I know most of the guys, the people that know what's going on, are probably up there right now, so just hang with us and we'll just keep an eye on what's going on. I'm going to try and take a few quick pictures while we're waiting to see what's happening. I can tell you now that Kingsport Fire and Rescue is coming in. Actually, I had a word with Churchill Fire Chief Luke Wood as I was driving towards this incident, and he is a member of the Kingsport Fire Department, and he told me that they were actually on their way in to assist on this. So there you see Kingsport Fire and Rescue is coming in to assist. I can tell you that as I was approaching this area, there was a huge black plume of smoke in the air that I could see from all the way on the other end of Seguinsville, and here we are on the far west end of Churchill at the Halston Mills plant. But it appears the smoke seems to be subsiding a little bit, a lot more than it was anyways. So hopefully that's a good sign. Once again, we're seeing some ambulances staged here at the Maverick Transportation Depot near the plant, and there doesn't seem to be any sense of urgency with regards to getting the ambulances out of here. Hopefully that's a good sign. No one's injured, and when we get a chance, we'll try to get a word with someone that knows what's going on up here. Once again, if you're just joining us, I'm at the Halston Mills plant in Churchill, on the far west end of Churchill, just east of Volunteer High School. All we know is what we've heard on the scanner so far. There was a chemical fire here at the plant. I was in Rogersville when it began, and as I came towards Churchill, I could see a huge black plume of smoke in the air all the way on the other end of Seguinsville. That seems to have subsided somewhat. You can see there's still some smoke, but it's not nearly as heavy as it was. And we just saw the Kingsport Fire and Rescue come in. I spoke with Churchill Fire Chief Luke Wood as I was on my way up here, and he said that he is also a member of the Kingsport Fire and Rescue. He said they were on their way to assist. You can see the ambulances from Hawkins County EMS are staging down here at this trucking depot near the plant, and haven't seen any ambulances coming out of here with sirens and lights, so that's a good sign. Hopefully no injuries to report, but we don't know anything yet. We see another ambulance is coming in, but pretty much I know what you know out there in the public. We're gonna hang here for a little bit, and the smoke seems to be subsiding, so that's a good sign, and we'll see what we can find out. Once again, if you're just joining us, we're coming to you live from the Halston Mills area in the western section of Churchill. This is the Halston Mills plant. Halston Mills, try to pronounce that correctly. We don't know a lot about what's going on right now, except what we heard on the scanner, which is that there was a chemical fire at the plant. There was an evacuation, and Kingsport Fire and Rescue is on the scene assisting the Hawkins County departments that are here. We see Hawkins County EMS is staging down in the parking lot of the Maverick Transportation Depot, and does not seem to be any sense of urgency on the part of the ambulances, which is hopefully a good sign. The smoke is subsiding. As I was on my way up here from Rogersville, there was a huge black plume of smoke. You could see it all the way on the other side of Seguinsville, maybe 5 miles away, if not more. And hopefully no injuries and minimal damage. That's what we're hoping for, but don't know a whole lot about what's going on right now. Just waiting for word from authorities. Of course, they've got their hands busy right now, so we'll just hang back, and when I see a big gust of smoke popping up, that's probably a sign that they're hitting it with something to put it out, so that's a good sign. Of course, with a chemical fire, you don't usually spray water on that. You might spray other things. I don't smell it as bad as I did either a minute ago, so the wind's blowing right in my face, so I'm kind of worried about that. But but if I get poisoned, we all get poisoned over here. There's several people watching what's going on down here at outside the Sun Chemical Company. We're on Halston Mills Road in Churchill, the Halston Mills plant. All we know right now is that there was a chemical fire. The area was evacuated. And that must have been around shortly before 1 p.m. because I was at the industrial board meeting that started at noon and it was wrapping up. So that must have been close to 1 o'clock when this all happened. Hopefully I'll see somebody I know pretty soon and be able to get a word.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Okay, I was able to get some information from a sheriff's deputy who is not, it's not his scene, so I don't want to identify him or anything, but he, unofficially, they evacuated a half-mile area. So you can see there's some housing over here. I'm not sure what that, I know that's kind of a gated community if I'm not mistaken. And so that they've evacuated a half-mile square area. What we heard from the scanner was that there was a chemical fire here at the Halston Mills plant in Churchill. And we see some ambulances staged over here in the Maverick Transportation Depot. We haven't seen any ambulances leaving with urgency, so hopefully that's a good sign. And right now, when I was on my way from Rogersville to here, there was a huge black plume of smoke. You could see it all the way on the other side of Seguinsville. You can see that smoke seems to be subsiding somewhat. There's still quite a bit, but this call came in shortly before 1 p.m. and I'm not sure what time it is because my phone is also my camera, which is also my clock. But I'm sure that it's before 2, so they've been able to do a lot of quick work here and get this fire knocked down quite a bit, it looks like. But we'll hang here and hopefully get an official word from somebody soon. What we can tell you is that there's an apparent chemical fire. That's the message that came out over the police radio. There has been a half-mile evacuation, square half mile, surrounding the Halston Mills plant. And we can see several firefighters, fire trucks are down there. The Hawkins County EMS is staging right below us here in the Maverick Transportation Depot. Kingsport Rescue Squad has come in, or not, sorry, Kingsport Fire and Rescue has come in. I spoke to Churchill Fire Chief Luke Wood as I was headed up here, and he's a member of the Kingsport Fire and Rescue, and he was actually on his way to fight this fire, so he wasn't able to enlighten me any on what's going on. But we do know that there has been a evacuation of approximately a half mile surrounding this fire. We know that there was a chemical fire at the Halston Mills plant, and multiple agencies from across the county and into Kingsport are addressing that right now. As I said earlier, there was a huge black plume of smoke coming from this plant as I was on my way up here from Rogersville. You could see it all the way on the other side of Strongsville, and it's still coming up pretty good smoke-wise, but it's not like it was, so hopefully that's a good sign. Okay, just kind of going around to some of the authorities that are working around where I'm at and asking questions. Not a whole lot known. What I do know, or what I was told, is that there hasn't been any ambulances coming out of here with priority traffic, which that's a good sign. Hopefully that means there's no injuries. Halston Mills is part of the printing industry, and from what I understand, they make ink and printing related materials, and so the chemicals, I'm about to get run over by Channel 11. The chemicals would be related to that, one would presume. Carters Valley Volunteer Fire Department is the primary responder in this area, but Kingsport Fire and Rescue and Kingsport's Hazardous Materials agency or rescuers are responding, or they actually already have arrived. How you doing?
That was a nice spot day going.
Yeah, we ruined it. Yeah, I was at the industrial board and 4 calls came in at the same time.
I got it and ran out.
Newsroom, the industrial board, everybody got a call at the same time.
Well, at least it doesn't look too bad. Maybe it won't be too awful long.
Shoot, boy, when I was coming back from Rogersville, it was a big old black plume of smoke. It's subsided quite a bit. Once again, coming to you live from Churchill, Halston Mills Road at the Halston Mills plant here on the west end of Churchill. We've got a report of a chemical fire. Authorities said that there's been an evacuation of approximately a half mile of residential area. You can see there's a little neighborhood right there, and there's houses all around here. Some of the firefighters that are up here that I've been able to speak to say they're not aware of any injuries. The ambulances are staged here below us at Maverick Transportation Depot, and they haven't left in a hurry, so that's a good sign. So we'll hang up here and see if we can get some authority to come up here and give us more information on what's going on. Looks like they're pretty busy right now, still smoking pretty heavily coming from the plant.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, I've been up. I've been rolling. I figured you guys were watching. I just got here like 2 minutes ago. There's a little bit of smoke towards the back of the building, but they've got me a half a mile away. Jeff Bobo's here. He said it was much worse earlier. Jeff Bobo. Kingsport Times News, Hawkins County Report. Yes. Hello. Churchill is by the road. That's the only one I can see. And then I followed the truck in just now. It was a tanker, but I didn't get a chance to read it. Churchill's right here beside me. I don't know. I'm half a mile away. My camera won't go that tight. I've got some video. I can feed back if you want to. Jeff Bobo, a Hawkins County reporter for Times News. He knows everything going on down here. He was at the Industrial Development Board when the alarm went off. So, yeah. He went walking up the road, but he's right here beside me. They're all probably up there. Oh yeah, we're out on 11W. Is there anybody to talk to, or are they all up on scene?
These guys are the only ones I talk to.
Yeah. Who else here? I know Churchill's here.
This is Carter's Valley's.
Carter's Valley's area?
Yeah, and Kingsport.
Carter's Valley and Churchill are both here.
Kingsport.
And Kingsport's Mutual Aid?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is Carter's Valley's area. Carter's Valley, that's it. All right, are they on me live?
Okay, I'm gonna take a walk over here. I was trying to get a better view around these trees. And I was actually able to find a better spot because that big old tree kind of blocks what's happening. And I'll kind of, when I get up here, I'll give you kind of an update, but it's smoking pretty good now though. This smells more like wood. Okay, whew. So we're not in an area where we're gonna be able to speak to anybody, but I can give you an update of what I know. Let me catch my breath. It's kind of smoky over here. We initially got a report of a chemical fire here at the Halston Mills plant in Churchill. According to some sources up here near where I'm at. No known injuries. The fire department is staging in the Maverick Transportation Depot right here. So we haven't seen them leave, but I think we have seen the smoke begin to get a little bit more intense here in the last few minutes. What I can tell you is, so I was at the industrial board meeting, which started at noon, and as it was ending, literally as it ended, which was probably right around 1 p.m., the industrial board chairman and the industrial board coordinator and myself started getting calls about this incident. Apparently came over the police scanner. This was a chemical fire at the Halston Mills plant. Halston Mills manufactures printing related products. I can't say from firsthand. What I was told is like ink and things like that, things related to printing. I don't know that. That's not confirmed. That's just what I heard from some officials here on the scene. I've also been told that the plant, the area around the plant for approximately a half mile has been evacuated. Voluntary evacuation. So you can see there's still quite a few people here. I'm sure if it was something really hazardous, it would be an involuntary evacuation. There wouldn't be people milling around, but they wouldn't let us within it around here if it was. So at least that's what I'm hoping. But as I was coming in from Rogersville, as I got to the other end of Seguinville, about 5 miles away, there was a huge black plume of smoke. You could see it from quite a distance away. It seems to have turned brown now. I think black is more of a indicator of hazardous materials. What we see now, it looks more like a wood fire. We have no reports of injuries. Of course, if you're just joining us, I'll just go over everything again from the beginning. What we know is that the Halston Mills plant, shortly before 1 p.m., there was a report of a chemical fire. The Carters Valley Volunteer Fire Department is here. Churchill, Kingsport Hazardous Materials is here. Kingsport Fire Department is here. Fire and Rescue. I spoke to Churchill Fire Chief Luke Wood as I was headed up here, and he's actually a member of the Kingsport Fire and Rescue Squad, and he was actually getting ready to head this way. And by the time I got here, they rounded the corner and pulled in and got over there. I was actually in Rogersville when this report came out and started headed this way. As I got to Seguinville, about 5 miles from here, there was a huge black plume of smoke. It seems to have subsided quite a bit, but you can see there's still quite a bit. All right, now I don't know if you all heard that or not. If somebody's watching this, shoot me a message and tell me if you're able to hear that. The EMA director just called me. He said that the evacuation point, and I wasn't taking notes because I don't have enough hands to hold a camera and a notepad and everything, but Ridgeview Baptist Church is the evacuation point. Okay, all right, sorry about that. Had another call. Apparently, it doesn't live stream while I'm on the phone, so you missed out on my interview with the EMA director. Jamie Miller called me a few minutes ago and informed me that he confirmed that there is a half-mile evacuation. It said it was kind of he gave me, I wasn't taking notes, unfortunately. I don't have enough hands to take notes and hold the cameras, but it was an alcohol-based chemical is the main thing. He said there is an inhalation danger. That's why they did the half-mile evacuation. Unfortunately, I didn't know this before. Now I know when I take a call and I put it on my speakerphone and I'm live streaming at the same time, the audience can't hear it. So I guess in a way that's a good thing, but in this case it's a bad thing because I sure wish y'all could have heard what he just told me. But the evacuation point and people from around here will know the name better, but I think he said Ridgeview Baptist Church is where the evacuation point is. So residents nearby within a half mile are being directed to go there, and I'm sure there's going to be people there to help them and meet their needs. Somebody's asking about volunteer. I didn't mention volunteer, but it's not within a half mile, and the chemicals is dissipating pretty quick away from the plant, so they probably did not evacuate it. He would have told me if they did. So volunteer is more than a half mile from here, probably right at a half mile, but as I said, I was talking to the EMA director, Jamie Miller, a minute ago, and he confirmed that there is an evacuation from the Halston Mills plant within a half mile, that the materials burning is an alcohol-based material. Halston Mills is a company that manufactures printing-related materials, so the alcohol is, I guess, common used as a cleaner and things like that. So that's basically what we know right now. The fire began around shortly before 1 p.m. and we've got, he mentioned a bunch of agencies here. I know we've got Carter's Valley is the primary responder. Churchill is here. He said here comes Bulls Gap. A tanker from Bulls Gap just went by. So Jamie said basically every fire agency in the county is here, plus Kingsport Fire and Rescue and Kingsport Hazardous Materials is here. And you can see we're on the highway. I was originally parked over there, and you can see at the corner, and you can see where the Channel 11 truck is, and my little red car is there, and that's where we were originally filming from. Looks like Channel 5 just got here also. But that big old tree was blocking my view, so came down the highway a little bit to give us a little bit better view. But Jamie confirmed, Jamie Miller, the EMA director, he confirmed that there are no injuries at this time, and that multiple agencies are here working on this fire, fighting this fire. It was a chemical fire. He mentioned that there was an alcohol-based material was the primary cause of the fire, or primary fuel, I guess you'd say, of the fire. Halston Mills is a printing products manufacturer, inks and things like that, and so there was an evacuation of a half mile surrounding this plant. Inhalation issues. I've been asked about Volunteer High School. Volunteer High School is probably about a mile from here, and it has not, to my knowledge, been evacuated. You can see the smoke dissipates pretty quickly. When I was on my way up here from Rogersville, there was a huge black flume of smoke coming up through here, and it's a lot smaller now, but it's still pretty substantial. Don't know how long the evacuation is going to last. Somebody had just asked that. I would imagine they're going to be here for quite a while. And actually, I won't be able to stay much longer or at least I won't be able to live stream much longer because my battery on my phone is about to croak. But I think if you've been watching, you know everything that I know. And I'll go through it one more time just in case the phone dies. But shortly before 1 o'clock, there was a report on the police scanner of a chemical fire at the Halston Mills plant here in Churchill, on the west end of Churchill, just off of Highway 11W. They evacuated approximately a half-mile area surrounding the plant. The staging area for the evacuees, and I believe he said Ridgeview Baptist Church. I know the word Ridgeview is in there, so Ridgeview Church near here is where they're directing the residents in this area to go. I'm sure there's going to be people there to help them. Don't know how long that's going to last. Volunteer has not been evacuated. They're probably getting ready to let out here in a few minutes anyways. Excuse me. The fire, as EMA director, Emergency Management Agency Director Jamie Miller contacted me while I was live streaming, and unfortunately while I was talking to him, the live stream cuts off, so you don't get to hear what he's saying. But I wish I had that on because this is recording as well. So, but anyways, he did say that it's a chemical fire. The primary material is alcohol-based material, and okay, we're getting a message that Churchill Rescue Squad has a shelter set up as Salvation Army. So Churchill Rescue Squad is on, I assume they're talking about the station on Main Street on the west end of town. And of course, the most important thing, no injuries reported. I talked to EMA Director Jamie Miller. He said there are no injuries, and that's the most important thing. So I'm pretty sure my phone's gonna cut out, and I really don't know if we'll learn anything else right now anyways. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and sign off in just a minute. But you get the idea. It looks like they've got it pretty much under control. Still quite a bit of smoke coming. I'll go through it one more time just in case you're just now joining us. But shortly before 1 p.m., there was a report on the police radio of a chemical fire at Halston Mills plant in Churchill. They evacuated an area of approximately a half mile surrounding the plant. I talked to EMA Director, Emergency Management Agency Director Jamie Miller. He said that the material that's burning is alcohol-based chemical. Halston Mills is a printing products manufacturer, so they make a lot of inks and things like that. So it's toxic, but it's not real bad. So I'm pretty sure we're not in danger. The evacuation is precaution. And I think that's about all I can tell you right now. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and we'll try to when we get more information, we'll update it on timesnews.net. Thanks.